What is your best I am not a smart person story? Mom, I need to pick up a card for your uncle's birthday. It's the 13th of August. Me. Ooh, has he ever had a Friday the 13th birthday? Mom, well he has had several throughout his life. Me. I can't wait until my birthday is on Friday the 13th. I used to love scary movies and I guess I had imagined a horror movie themed party. Mom, well, considering your birthday is on the 7th, I hate to tell you that will never happen. Every Friday the 13th since my family has given me a card and present, they love to give me a hard time about it. I plugged my hoodie strings into my ears thinking they were my earbuds, and thought my iPod was busted until I looked down. I didn't even have my iPod with me. I was just sitting there with the strings in my ears. Oh god, this is hilarious. A few weeks ago, I walked to a cash machine to get money out. There I spotted a handwritten note saying don't forget to take out your cash. I thought to myself, how stupid do you have to be to withdraw money then walk away without taking it? 10 seconds later, when I was about to leave there, the guy who was queuing behind me shouted at me, mate, haven't you forgot something? Yes, the note was for me. I hate having to reread Reddit comments in a different accent. Next time please include mate and Q in the first sentence. I once worked with twins. One was blonde and the other a brunette. They never did a shift together. For about 4 months I had no idea there were two of them and just thought this girl really liked to change her hair color a lot. Topped off with a slight change in personality and then occasional blank stare when referencing a previous conversation. I just thought she was strange. They walked in together once and my mind exploded. I didn't say anything because of the inevitable mass facepalm that would have occurred. Ruined my day. I was putting bug spray on my arm. I sprayed down my arm away from me, but then instead of flipping my arm over to do the other side, I moved the can to the other side and sprayed it towards me, into my eyes. It burned. On a 30-foot high ski lift I decided it'd be a good idea to touch the pole with my ski. It slid onto the other side of the pole and proceeded to drag me off the bench by my foot. I was only saved by my freakish flexibility which allowed my foot to turn far enough for the ski to break free. My dad didn't even ask if I was okay. He just looked at me like, seriously? Frick, ski lifts scare me. I constantly worry about falling off them, especially when they have little or no safety precautions. There was a post on here that showed $1 million in singles and I tried to figure out how many bills that would be. Similar but not too long ago I spent pretty much an entire car ride trying to figure out how long it would take to go 50 miles at 50 miles per hour. I have set myself on fire by cooking scrambled eggs and dragging my big, drapey bathrobe sleeve over the burner. I have done this twice. This is why you should be a nudist. Wasn't me, but my sister was driving our golf cart through a trail on our land and she noticed that Yamaha was upside down on the steering wheel. While she was driving, she turned the wheel to correct it and she swerved and destroyed the front end of the cart against a large rock. I just hope she never does that with a steering wheel that says Hammer. This might be the funniest one in here. Picturing this is making me laugh so hard. Once while on a trip home from the beach and I was trying to make good time, I needed gas so I got off the highway at the next exit and I was in the middle of nowhere. The pumps were old and you had to switch them on yourself, and I was unfamiliar with those kinds of pumps. I was so excited that I figured out how to turn it on that I didn't think twice about the nozzle not fitting quite correctly. I had pumped about 1.5 gallons before some old guy asked if my car ran on diesel. Crap. I filled the rest up with the expensive gas after about an hour of having to explain and re-explain that I am an idiot, and I stopped every chance I got so I could dilute the diesel. No noticeable long-term damages, but frick. TLDR. Put diesel in my car. Don't feel bad. I watched a guy with a tow truck do the same thing. It's his job and he still filled the whole tank. It can't feel good to call a tow truck for that. Woman, can I get a spiced rum and coke? Me to the other bartender, so how do you spice it? Like pepper, Tabasco? What? Other bartender, she means spiced rum, not to spice her rum and coke. In my computer class that I took in middle school we saved all of our projects into a folder titled with our full names. One day I looked into my folder and saw that someone had saved a bunch of files in my folder, so I subsequently deleted all of the files. Turns out, I was in the wrong folder and just deleted all of their hard work. The dumb one in your story is your IT. I was talking to my mom about fixing some piping. We were standing next to the washer and dryer, one of which was on. Me, shouldn't we wait until the laundry is done to cut off the water? Mom, it's just the dryer that's running. Me, yeah, mom, confused look. Me, so, the washing machine uses cold water. Mom, yes, mostly. Me, so then the dryer uses hot water. Mom, incredulous stare. Me, after several seconds. Oh, right, okay, never gonna hear the end of it. In grade 11 we had to do a poster on any dinosaur we could think of for my biology class. I was one of the last in line and all the ones I could think of were taken, until I remembered about the Rhinosaurus. My bio teacher asked me about it the next day when he was reading the sign-up sheet. TLDR, Rhinosaurus isn't a dinosaur. That must have been a really easy high school. Well, this is embarrassing, but here goes. I attempted to purchase cart full of groceries, and then realized my wallet was at home. I dashed home to get my wallet, leaving a cart full of melting frozen food with some poor cashier. She insisted, but I still felt bad. I return with wallet, pay, and proceed to leave the entire cart full of groceries at the store. I got all the way home, walked in the door, and sat down before I realized what I had done. I'm pretty sure that cashier thought I was dropped on the head too many times as a child. I'm pretty sure that cashier thought you were high as frick. I once wanted to see what was on the bottom of a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Unfortunately, the bottle was both full and open. I have gone to take a drink and just completely missed my mouth, as in basically just poured it on myself. I wish I could say this has only happened once, but I'd be lying. Just a few weeks back, brushing my teeth before a date with my Sonicare toothbrush. Love that thing. I notice the battery is beginning to die. I begin to panic, pressing the on button and getting shorter and shorter bursts of power before turning off completely. Oh heck, now what? How will I ever brush my teeth? Oh yeah, I could move the thing back and forth across my teeth. Whenever I have money and my friends owe me, I always think for a split second, hey, I have some money, why don't I just give it to them so they can pay me back? Let's be friends. I was at work and I needed to wear some gloves. I proceeded to slide my right hand into the left glove. It feels weird, but I move on. Then I slide the right glove on my left hand. So at this point I'm standing in front of my 4 co-workers who don't notice. My thumbs are in the pinky places, and vice versa. Then I say, quite loudly, what's wrong with these gloves? They all turn around and stare at me. Haha, I can just imagine you standing there looking at them flexing your hands with a look of complete befuddlement on your face. I moved into the first apartment I've ever owned and the previous owners left one of the toilet seats loose and the other one broken. I put off replacing them for months and months, because I knew it would be expensive, like $500. About a month into living there, one of the toilets clogged. I called a plumber. He let me know that new toilet seats were $35 each when I asked. I was shocked and asked how that was possible. He asked where I had heard they cost $500. With a sinking feeling, I realized, The Sims. That was the price for the cheap toilet. Really, they even can be a lot less than that. Picked up one at Home Depot for $9. It's pretty decent too. I was surprised. Not me, but I got a good chuckle out of a guy here on Reddit who, in the middle of a discussion about good smells, said that he needed to go to bed because he'd just tried to Google the smell of sandalwood. One time I forgot how to answer a phone. It started ringing and I just stared at it like, what am I supposed to do? And no, I wasn't high. My mind went completely blank for some reason. Grew up extremely sheltered, all the way through high school. Got my first job at 16 working at a pharmacy, stocking some shelves. I'm approached by an attractive Spanish girl. She asks, do you have medicine for, crabs? Puzzled, as I'd never met a person with crabs as pets. nor considered that pharmacies carried medicine for pet crabs. I turned to where the pharmacist was and yelled, "Hey, this girl here is looking for medicine for crabs, we got anything?" Edit. Wow. Thanks for the gold. On a scale from 1 to 10, how good is it at washing shame away if it's several years old? My last name is pretty difficult to spell, so I once bet my cousin that they couldn't spell my last name. We share the same last name. Toast is not that hard to spell. I work with deep fryers and last week it was cold in the restaurant and I was exhausted. I held my hands over the fryer to warm them and then had the fantastic idea that the oil looked calm and was warm, so it would be just like a hot bath, so I should put my arms in. I started lowering them. When I was just about to touch the oil, I realized what the heck I was doing and pulled them up and away. That could have ended so terribly. The pipe under the sink was blocked and the sink was full of water. No issue, I thought. Unscrew the pipe with a saucepan underneath. Let the water drain out into the saucepan and unblock the pipe. Day saved. Unscrew pipe. Water starts flowing into saucepan. Crap, saucepan is overflowing. Scrabble to find another one. Can't find one. Light bulb moment. I've got a sink I can empty the water into. Yay. The very same sink with the pipe unscrewed. I got very wet and haven't attempted plumbing since. For some reason I have conversations in my head that I don't vocalize. The worst was when my wife, myself, and another couple were talking and the topic of circumcision came up. In my head I thought, hey, wife works in daycare and has changed a lot of diapers, but I didn't vocalize that part. Instead I said to her, in front of our friends, so, you've seen a lot of penises. What's more common? This actually happened to me this morning. I ran out of toothpaste and decided to use baking soda instead. Now this is fine for fresh unused baking soda, but I didn't have that. Instead, I used the old one in my freezer. I immediately regretted that decision. My mouth was full of the taste of old meat and everything that has been in my freezer over the years. TLDR. Brushed my teeth with a mouthful of nasty toothpaste. Oh so many. Just last week I wasn't sure if my laptop charger was working or not, so I licked it while plugged in. Plot twist. I am finishing up a PhD in particle physics. Haha, that's great. I'm in a PhD program for experimental psych. One time, I'm in my office with a student and a friend, also in the program, walks in and announces to us that he needs to look up how to spell definite. As he's typing it out on the computer, he turns to my student and says, I'm getting a PhD. I lost it in laughter. I went on a hiking trip in middle school and as a joke the teachers put out milk duds on the ground and told us they were owl droppings. They then encouraged us to eat them, which we all did. Everyone was in on it except for me. I'm standing there completely mortified as all of my classmates hungrily gobble down owl turds. It wasn't until months later that I found out they were milk duds. I feel like it's still pretty questionable to eat milk duds off the ground of a hiking trail. So, my gay theater history teacher had us listen to a song he wrote and I tried to be clever and combine two words. Fantastic and magnificent. What I ended up saying was that was fagnificent. I felt very dumb-braced. Fagnificent. Mantastic frick. I was 17 when I suddenly realized that pickles were actually made from cucumbers. Until that epiphany of mine, I guess I believed they grew on trees or were a whole other form of vegetable. Why sour things? I was in a long drive-thru line at McDonald's. I ordered, drove up and then paid at the first window. Then the cars in front of me just stopped. Somebody apparently ordered some special meal. I got mad and thought to myself, I'll show them. I'll take off out of line and screw this whole operation up. So, I pulled out of line and went to Sonic. Halfway down the highway, I realized that I had paid for my food but then left. I sure showed them. Mine happened today, which is a great coincidence. I dropped my iPad and it got a crack in the screen. I took a screenshot and went to send it to my brother so he could see the crack. I had my finger on the send button when it hit me that I was a freaking retard. I've done this before with my phone, but I actually sent it before realizing how stupid it was. My friend won't ever let it go. After a night of drinking, I staggered home and tried to keep myself awake to get some water down by watching a movie. I failed. When I woke up I had a massive purple bruise on my jaw and after trying to scrub it off, I had no idea why my jaw was bruised. Google, of course, told me I had cancer. Just as I'm considering contacting a doctor, it finally dawns on me. I ended up falling asleep at my desk with my head propped on my fist. I had slowly punched myself in the face for at least 6 hours. And the angel cried, "Stop hitting thyself. Stop hitting thyself." But lo, he could not, for the angel was hitting him with his own hands. I was trying to shave my legs with some shaving cream that comes out of the container as gel but turns foamy after you rub it. The can got jammed, so I pointed the tip at my face and kept trying to make it work. It didn't, went straight up my nose. I was puking up foam for hours and had a horrible chemical burn in my throat for a while. Gak, that sounds horrible. I drove by an LA Fitness and I said, "Wow, I didn't know there was a gym for just Mexican people. Is fitness the same word in Spanish as it is English?" It took me a minute to get that. Yes, it means the fitness. Had a mini heart attack when I thought I had left my cell phone in the subway. I was talking to someone on it. I literally had it on my hand. I used to have that same thing with my eraser when I was a student. I'd be and yell at the person who I thought took it, but it always turned out to be in my hand. When I went to see The Dark Knight with my friends, I didn't realize it was a Batman movie until I was in the theater and the movie's opening credits started. 5 minutes into Avatar, I slowly realized that I was not watching the trailer for some upcoming space movie. I was trying to explain to a friend on Facebook about the butt of a substitute teacher I once had. Her butt was so big and round that it actually angled up quite a bit, like a caricature. I wanted to explain it better and give my friend an image so that she could see what I mean, so I Google image searched up butt. I don't know why, but I felt obligated to Google up butt after reading to see what popped up. Honestly, before I came into this thread, I thought I was pretty smart, but I've related to a whole lot of these, and crap's looking kinda bleak right now. Yeah, I came in here ready to cast shame upon all the lowlifes, but all these anecdotes are just reminding me of the dumb crap I've done, even recently. 2 weeks ago I was driving with some friends, and while sitting in the front seat, I tried to offer a bag of potato sticks to the back but tilted it too far and poured it all over my friends in the back seat. One time at the airport, I saw big luggage tag with big tag written on it. I stared at it for the longest time trying to figure out what it meant. I had been studying a lot for a German test, and I was thinking, well, I know that tag means day, and big, what's big? I once forgot what shampoo was. It must have gone on for a while, but I'm not sure. I realized when I was watching The Simpsons and someone mentioned a bottle of shampoo and thought it was some kind of champagne. When I had a shower and washed my hair, it came flooding back. My friend told me she lived in Pennsylvania and I asked her what language was spoken there. I confused it with Transylvania. I said once, "Is that one homeless guy's house?" I immediately felt a wave of emotions crash into me, including stupidity and shame. I don't think stupidity is an emotion. Well, there was this one time I drank a whole lot of water while eating very hot peppers. To start, water does not help, it just spreads the heat around your mouth. Secondly, I had to pee after. Always wash your hands after eating hot peppers, and pee for that matter. When I was 12 I did something similar, only it wasn't hot peppers. I had just found pepper spray in my mom's purse and wondered what it did. I cried. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.